Okay, we're going to do major scales here. A major scale is kind of the basis of everything. There's minor scales and all sorts of different scales, but the major scale is the scale that is used to make most country songs, most rock and roll songs, most church hymns, most blues songs, although it's modified for blues, and we'll get into those modifications later. But we're starting out with a major scale in its most basic form. We're starting on the piano keyboard because the keyboard is inherently a graph of a major scale. A major scale starts on a note. It goes for 8 notes until it gets back to the same place. So if we start here, let me turn that on, it'll get louder. We start there, we wind up here. Now, first thing you notice is that there's some black keys and a lot of white keys, but there aren't as many black keys as white keys. Like here's 2 black keys, but there's not one there and there's not one there. And here's 3 black keys, but there's not one there and there's not one there, and so forth. The C scale, the scale that starts on the note C, is the only scale, only major scale you can play that is played entirely on white keys. And that's because of the presence and absence of the black keys. A major scale is made up of some whole steps and some half steps. A whole step is the distance from a key to 2 away from it. So there is my root key and there's my whole step. We jumped over that black key. Whole step. A half step is the distance from a key to the key very closest to it. There's a half step. Now in a guitar, from one fret to the next fret is always a half step. There are no black and white keys, so you just have to learn that. They're always, from one fret to the next fret is a half step. There's a root note, there's one fret, there's the next fret, there's another fret, there's the next fret. But the piano gives us this picture of what we're doing, and that's why we're using it. Okay? Now, there are 2 places, as you see, in this repeated pattern where there are no black keys. There's not one here and there's not one there. When there's 2 black keys together, the white key immediately below them is a C note. When there's 3 black keys together, the white key immediately below them is an F note. So C note, F note. There's no flat or sharp, no black key between C and B, and there's no black key, no flat or sharp between F and E. Now, we're going to play a C major scale. We're going to go root note, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. No matter what note you start on, a major scale is always the pattern whole step, half step, whole step, half step. 2 whole steps and a half step, 3 whole steps and a half step. When I was trying to learn this so I could play keyboard by ear, I kept saying to myself, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 2 whole steps and a half step, 3 whole steps and a half step. Why will that only work on C? Well, because the pattern of the black keys and white keys never changes, but you always got to go a whole step at the right time and a half step at the right time. So to make that pattern work out, sometimes you have to play on the black keys. Let's say we wanted to play a D scale. We went D. Whole step. But see, we need another whole step and there's no black key. So we have to go whole step. So we go D, whole step, half step, whole step, another whole step and a half step. Only in C can we do it all on white keys. Now, when we get to minor scales, you'll find out that there's one minor scale we can also play all on white keys, but I'm not going any farther than that down that road right now. Okay, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You can use the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do names no matter where you start. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And you can use the numbers no matter where you start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You notice I'm a little slower on that D scale because I have to stop and think where I am. Okay, and the reason that I, in a lot of my posts that you guys see, tend to talk in terms of 1s and 5s and 3s and all that stuff is because it doesn't matter what letter note you start on, 1 is always 1. It's always the root note of the scale. 3 is always 3. 5 is always 5. A major scale is always 1, 3, and 5. For instance, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Those are the two nomenclatures I'm going to use. Now, I think that's a good spot to stop right now for today. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Around air, 8. That's all, folks.